Hello and welcome to Beyond the Hustle. I'm Alice, a certified NLP mindset and women's health coach, and I'm so beyond excited you're here. This podcast is for the human behind the success, the woman behind the business, behind the grind of building that legacy. Here we dive deep into mindset, rewiring your subconscious mind, nervous system regulation, and energetics. Basically everything that helps you feel grounded and grow sustainably. Whether you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, burnt out, or ready to step into your next level of success and self, this podcast will give you the tools, insights, and shifts to help you move forward with clarity, calm, and conviction. So if you're ready to stop hustling from fear and finally build success that feels as good as it looks, you're in the right place. Welcome to Beyond the Hustle. Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Hustle podcast, the podcast for building the human that you are behind the business and behind the success. Today, I really wanted to bring this conversation through to you guys. I've actually just filmed a couple episodes before this, but this is an episode that I have wanted to speak to for quite a while now because I would say it is like my most like woo-woo conversation, my most woo-woo like opinion, if you will. But it is something that I massively believe in, and also it has been a massive like catalyst, pivotal shift, I would say, for my business. Okay, so bear with me. Allow the woo-woo-ness to come through. But you already, if you are listening to this, like you already will understand like what we're kind of going into a little bit, right? Now, what we're going to talk to is why you should prioritize life outside of like your success in your business, and also why you should flip the switch for receiver mode and receiver energy. So anyone that doesn't like woo-woo stuff, please leave. Perfect. Okay. Now, the reason that I know this to be true is what I'm going to start with, okay? Because when I think of receiver energy, and when you think of receiver energy, I want you to really think of, okay, you've got a goal, you know what the goal is. Now, obviously, part of getting to that goal is very much working towards it, but also part of it is very much actually allowing it to manifest and knowing that it's going to happen, right? Now, 70 to 80%, I'm going to say, of my inquiries this year have come after I have allowed myself to fully switch off, fully unplug, and look after myself and pour into myself. I do not believe that that is a coincidence, right? I do not believe that as a coincidence, okay? Because there's been even days where I have, fully switched off, fully unplugged, come back to, money coming in that I wasn't expecting, to inquiries that I, had no idea people were on the sidelines watching, right? Now, they could have come in at any other time, but I strongly believe that, I chose to switch off on a random fucking Wednesday and I woke up to an inquiry. I chose to take an entire weekend off and fully unplugged, didn't touch my phone, didn't go online, didn't post online, didn't post anything. And I got an inquiry. Now, this is not me endorsing, actually just fully switching off. And well, yes, I am, but like not posting anything in your business. However, it's very much in a time where I was just like, I would really like a weekend off. Don't feel guilty about it. I'm just going to enjoy it. And then, that Sunday night got a random message. And that also comes from like a lot of people. I think we all focus on like, okay, I need to post more, I need to do more, I need to sell more, I need to do this, right? Now, obviously there is a portion of your business has to be that. You have to be posting, you have to be showing up, you have to be doing the thing, right? But I'm also a big believer in that, like the one thing that you post today isn't going to be like that one thing that someone is like, oh, I am going to invest. It's an accumulation of what they see and what they know about you. Now, that's why I'm obviously a massive believer, and I preach the whole reason behind this podcast and this business is looking at the human that you are beyond the business and behind that, right? So me pouring into myself, and I always show that I'm pouring into myself because I do believe there's too many of us that feel guilty for it. But me showing that I'm pouring into myself, and me also pouring into myself, and then me allowing myself to take time off without feeling guilty, of course that's going to be one of the reasons and one of the things that allow people to come into my world, because I'm allowing myself to go into, I've done my bit, I've done what I can. Now it's up to them as well. It's their decision at the end of the day, right? And I'm not trying to force anyone. I never would ever. It gives me the ick trying to, like, if someone tries to force you into something, it's not my vibe. But if someone's trying to, like, if someone wants to make a decision, I'm like, yeah, I've done my bit, I've shown up. Now let me show up for myself as well, okay? And that is literally, at the end of the day, everything that I do in my business. Everything I do in my day-to-day is to pour into myself, like my purpose is very much making sure I'm in the best possible energy for my clients and for everyone that I serve and that I show up for. That's really why I wanted to like make this podcast as well, is because I have so many clients coming to me who all they're doing is like trying to cling on to control, cling on to making it work, making it happen, cling on to the sales that they might get, cling on to the leads, cling on to everything. And they're trying to control the outcome, but they are very rarely actually allowing themselves to let it come to fruition. And I think we do live in a society where quite literally people are being told do more, as if that is some form of business advice. It really do not be. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? And we're always just being told to do more. I went on Instagram the other day and it was literally like someone going, oh, I made 100 trial reels in 45 minutes whilst you're scrolling. And then someone else going, I manifested my 100K month. And I'm like, no. Respectfully, it's hard out there. It do be fucking hard, right? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you have to, do as everything possible that you can in one single day, right? I'm not going to tell you, and that's literally why my clients come to me, because my clients are struggling with, I'm seeing online that you should be doing this and you should be posting this, and you should be doing that, and you should be working, and and I've had clients even say in the first 4 years of your business, you're not supposed to like take time off, and you're not supposed to go on holiday, you're not supposed to switch off, and I'm like, what? So who are you going to be at the end of that 4 years? A shell of yourself, okay? Anyway, I digress. But I'm a strong believer in that, like, when you allow yourself to set a goal, show up for that goal, do the work that's required to get you there, believe in yourself and your ability to actually get to that goal, and then also release control and release, I've done my bit, I've done my work, I've shown up for it. That's when it happens. It's not when we're clinging onto it. It's not when we're trying to force it to happen. It's when we allow ourselves to let go of control, because that's when we actually can fully show that we trust ourselves and we believe in ourselves to actually get there. Now, I'm going to hit you up with another analogy. If you've listened to this podcast before, you will know I love analogies, okay? My client yesterday was like, you can make an analogy of fucking anything. And I was like, yes, I can. Watch me do it. Now, something that I always say to my clients, though, and this genuinely blows their minds when I word it this way, is I want you to imagine that you are the driver of a car. Now, if you have a driving license or whatever, it doesn't matter, right? But you're the driver, you're driving the car, right? Now, the vehicle is you, right? And you are the driver. The driver is like your mind, okay? Let's say. Now, when you are actually pouring fuel into a car, you have to turn the car off. You have to get out of the car and you have to actually pour fuel in, right? That's the only way that it works. Now, we understand that from a perspective of that's how you put fuel in a car. Why is that not the way that we also view fueling ourselves and pouring into ourselves and pouring into us as the driver of said vehicle, our body, ourselves, going towards our goals, towards our destination, right? So many times people assume that, okay, you can just go to the gas station, the fuel station, and you can just be really quick and fuel up and blah, 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 and then go, right? Why is it that we're allowing like that to happen, but we're not allowing ourselves to recharge, to switch off, to fully switch off from the doing and the being and the, being something for other people and serving other people and, always being on, but we're not allowing ourselves to actually switch off and unplug and like get out of the car, and pour into it, pour into ourselves, pour into our body. Okay. So I want you to imagine that when you are building your business, whether you're at the starting phase just now, whether you're at, you've built that very successful business just now, imagine that your body is the car, your subconscious is the driver, that's you. How can you pour into both? You have to switch them both off at some point. Obviously, when you sleep, you switch off, right? But that's not enough. You need to be able to switch off and actually pour into yourself. If you're listening to this podcast and recognizing that you are in a constant cycle of burnout in business, you're always thinking about business, always carrying the mental load of a long to-do list and the responsibilities of a business owner, always feeling like you're unable to switch off, be present in your life and enjoy the success you've built, then this space is for you. Because if you've built the success you once wanted, but you still find yourself feeling stressed, disconnected, or strangely unfulfilled by it all, the answer really isn't another strategy, another productivity hack, or another thing to add to your already full plate. The answer is rewiring your identity, removing the beliefs and fears keeping you in this burnout cycle, and focusing on you as the strategy first. Inside my one-to-one coaching, we always start with an in-depth audit to understand what is truly capping your success where you are, the top 3 to 5 blocks that are limiting you in the season you're in. Then we focus on rewiring your mind using NLP techniques and one-to-one support to elevate the human behind the business so you can actually hold more success with ease instead of burnout. If you're ready to rebuild your success from the inside out, head to the links in the show notes or slide into my DMs for more information. Now, let's get back to the episode. Now, another reason as to why I do know this as well is because as soon as I started allowing myself to properly switch off, properly unplug. Now, this can look so different for so many people. I personally love working Monday to Friday and then switching off Saturday, Sunday, because also my partner does that. My partner works 9 to 5. So it makes sense for me because I'm like, okay, perfect. 2 days that will be solely focused to us. I love that. Love nothing more. My relationship is very important to me. So of course I'm going to make that space, right? I know that some people prefer to do it differently. Some people prefer to work a little bit every single day. But as long as you are, whatever it freaking looks like for you, but as long as you're making sure that you actually have time for you to fully switch off and fully unplug, that is the most important thing. Now, what I'm also not saying, and I want to preface, is I am not saying set a goal and then just switch off and hope that it manifests. That is not the power of actually getting yourself into receiver energy, okay? That is not what this looks like. That's not also manifestation. If you set a goal and you don't actually work towards getting there, this is why I hate affirmations. If you're standing in front of a mirror and you're going, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, and then you're moving away from the mirror as someone who does not believe they're worthy and is moving as not someone who is worthy, then you will not feel worthy. You will not feel that way, okay? So if you set a goal, you also have to, put the work in to get there. You have to execute the strategy. You have to show up and do the thing. But equally, if you believe in yourself and you believe that you can get there, you also then get to release that control and then switch off and then let go and allow yourself to pour into yourself so that you have more energy to pour back into that goal and manifesting that goal. And then also, what I am also saying is, if you're setting a goal and you do not believe in your ability to achieve that goal, and you're just going to hope that it manifests by doing some work and doing this here and there and everywhere, that's also not manifestation. That's also not going to work for you, because the very, very most important thing is whether you believe you can get there or not. So what I am saying is I want you to set a goal, set one that stretches you, set one that feels, oh, this would be incredible to get to. Like, I'm so excited to get there. I would love to have this. I would love to have that. And make it specific, right? We're not just going to go, I want to sign a client. Because so many times I get my clients saying that, and I'm like, okay, well, let's digress. Let's unpack that, because it's like, okay, assign a client in what capacity, right? Even for me, I've got a couple different coaching options, right? And there's different seasons in which I'm like, okay, I am going to focus on signing clients into my 6-week intensive align and ascend, because the season that I'm in just now fits that season, right? It's good because I'm getting a lot of inquiries at the moment. So I'm going to make the space for the 6-week intensive so people can come in, get a taste, and then decide if they want to stay on, which, actually 99% of them do. Or there might be a season where I'm like, okay, I really want to, maybe I'm feeling a little bit more stretched capacity wise, so I'm going to focus on building up my monthly coaching option, which is the monthly call with one-to-one support, basically. A lot more to it than that. But okay, so let me actually focus on building that up, because it allows me to have more capacity, but also allows me to still serve more people. Or there's seasons where I will be like, okay, let me focus on purely the one-to-one coaching options, because I have, for my in-depth, like very full-on, like one-to-one coaching, I have a specific number of spaces that I keep for that. I cap it so that I have the most energy for them as well, right? So if one is on the way out, or if one's finishing up or wrapping up, then it's like, okay, so now I can actually build that, right? So I have very different seasons for building different options, different programs, essentially, right? So instead of just going, oh, I'm going to sign a client, I'll say, okay, I'm going to work to bring someone into Align and Ascend. I'm going to work to bring someone into the monthly coaching option, right? Make it specific. Your subconscious fucking loves specifics, right? So the more that you just go, I want to sign a client, you could sign someone into like your your lowest ticket offer. That might not be what you want, but for your subconscious, it's like, I've signed a client. Now, obviously, I'm not saying we're not going to celebrate that. We are going to celebrate that, because that's absolutely incredible. Anyone that is someone coming in to trust you and to build that with you and to support you as well, that's absolutely incredible. We want to celebrate that. But what I'm saying is that if you wanted to sign a one-to-one client and someone has bought into like a low ticket masterclass that you've done ages ago, it's not the same of what you actually wanted, right? So you want to be very, very specific. Now, when you have set that specific goal, the first thing you want to do is ask yourself, do I believe that I can actually achieve this? Do I believe that I can have this? Do I believe that I'm capable of actually getting to this goal? Now, if you cannot say fuck yes, and yes, I believe that I can actually get there. Yes, I believe in my capability and my skills to actually get there and hold that goal and achieve it. That is the first problem, and that's the first thing you actually have to look at, because no matter what you actually do, no matter how many times you set that goal, if you're not allowing yourself to switch off and fully believe that you're capable and show up for it and fully believe that you're capable, you're not going to get there, and it's never going to manifest as well, right? Because that's then we're just hoping that it's going to work. Meanwhile, we're hoping someone else believes in us the way that we do not actually believe in ourselves. So that's the first thing that we have to understand, is that if you do not actually subconsciously fully believe in yourself to get there, you're going to subconsciously hold yourself back, and that is going to stop you from being able to actually go into receiver mode and switch off into receiver energy. So if you do not have that self-belief, you have to cultivate that first, and that looks like removing the blocks and everything in the way of actually disrupting that self-belief. That's where I come in. Then secondly, if you believe in yourself to get there, what does actually getting there require of me? What does getting to that point require of me? Now, I want you to look at this from a capacity lens, from an energetic lens, and from, a subconscious lens as well, and from a literal strategic lens as well. Because obviously, logically, we can look at this and go, this is what I need to do. I need to post this, I need to get this, blah, 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 blah. Like, we can look at the logics of it. And we can look at, like, all the things that you could be doing. But we also really want to get very logical of, like, you do not need to overwork yourself and try and get there as quickly as possible. It's like, what can you actually do to sustain getting there, and what can you actually do to continue to build on that self-belief and to continue building that self-trust? Executing the strategy, doing the thing, showing up. But equally, what does it require of you behind the scenes to make sure that you also get there? It probably requires you to be in your best possible energy. What allows you to get to that? Probably requires you to feel really, really confident in that. What is required of you to feel that as well, right? This is where we're starting to go more into, you need to also allow yourself to be in a position to receive, because receiving is also like being able to receive, whether that is in love, whether that's in other relationships, other dynamics. Like, being able to receive is an energy, right? If you are allowing yourself, I've said this to my clients before, and I am just going, do you know what, let's just open this conversation up, okay? If you are in the bedroom, right, you're having sex, just bear with me, I'm so sorry to my mom, right? Or my parents are watching this, right? But you want to be fully, like, in the moment. You want to be fully present, right? You don't want to be thinking about, like, oh my gosh, I got to do this and I got to do this, and then, oh my god, what if this client leaves, and blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't want anything to disrupt that moment. You want to just be fully present, right? That is you going into receiver mode as well, and receiver energy as well, right? You're receiving love, you're receiving whatever it may be, right? You are in receiver mode, and that also, like, again, why do we put it into that aspect? But we do not look at that from the lens of when you are actually putting yourself into receiver mode for other things, receiving from friends and, like, love and admiration and stuff like that from friends and whatnot, but also receiving, like, sales and everything like that as well, right? How you do one thing is how you do everything. How you receive one thing is how you receive everything, okay? So if you're not allowing yourself to receive in, like, the most vulnerable places as well, you're going to struggle to actually put yourself into full receiver mode in other areas as well, okay? Because you have to be able to be fully present, and that's knowing that I fully believe in myself, but also knowing that I'm doing the stuff to get there as well, and I'm allowing myself to show up for that as well, okay? At the end of the day, you're already likely doing so many of the actions that will actually get you to the goal that you have set. But because you don't have, like, the belief, and probably because you don't have the specific intentions behind getting there, you will not also get there. You will struggle to get there as well. Again, I was even talking to a client yesterday as well, she kept saying that, I'm really struggling to show up through the week and do the thing and show up strategically, basically. And when it came down to it, it boiled down to the fact that, like, she doesn't actually have any specific plan, doesn't have any specific structure, because she's afraid of structure. Okay, now that's a whole story in itself, right? But she fucking hates structure, right? And there's a whole reason for that, right? But because she's not allowing herself to show up with focus, with precision, with belief or trust, and the ability to actually go and follow through on these specific intentions and this, like, specific structure and a way that's going to allow her to pour into herself and pour into her business, she's actually struggling. She's not able to do it, and that's dramatically decreasing her ability to actually grow and scale and to receive as well, okay? Because when it comes to switching off, she's just feeling guilty about all the stuff that she hasn't done, or she's then not switching off because she's like, I still need to do X, Y, and Z, right? I feel like this conversation is going in every which way, and I do apologize. If you have listened to my podcast before, you will know this about me. I do ramble, okay? But the real difference is not whether you set the goal and then you just go, oh, that's it, I'm going to manifest and it's just going to happen for me. No, the difference is in whether you actually believe that you can get there, whether you have the specific intentions and the specific like requirements behind that of you actually getting there, versus whether you are just setting a goal and not believing in yourself, not believing in your ability to get there, and not knowing how you're going to get there as well, and then not allowing yourself to execute. That's the difference, right? So the last thing that you have to then really, really do to fit into the puzzle is allow yourself to fully get into that receiver energy and allow yourself to fully get into that receiver mode. And this genuinely is where the magic happens. Like I've said, 80% of my inquiries, probably more to be honest, have all come when I have allowed myself to go into receiver energy, when I've allowed myself to switch off, and I've allowed myself to, actually just focus on me as the driver behind everything that I'm doing, right? And the more that I focus on me, the more that I pour into myself, the more that my business actually scales, the more that I actually see the success and the results that I actually want. And again, that comes from proof is in the fucking pudding. That is what I've known from this year and known from the last year as well. I am, and I'm always told as well that I'm like queen of alignment and queen of like being relentless with my boundaries. That is why. The reason I'm relentless from the boundaries is so that I can always make sure I'm in my best energy to receive, to focus, to show up, and to pour into my business and pour into myself and to everyone around me as well. So let's focus lastly on, once you've got the goal, once you have the belief behind the goal, once you have the intention and the specifics behind the goal and what you need to do to get there, now let's get you into that receiver energy. Now, this is where I really want you to allow you to choose a time, whether that's in your week, in your day, choose a time where you get to be a human first, not a business owner, but a human. Because at the end of the day, you're always human first in whatever you do. So choose a time, choose a space, choose a way in which you can actually allow yourself to fully focus on just being a human first, right? There's no obligations. There's no, I need to do this, I need to do that. Where can you actually allow yourself to just simply show up and be the human that you are, and then actually commit wholeheartedly to doing that and switch off and allow yourself to do that, right? Because this is where you actually allow yourself to focus purely on you, and this is where you're going to feel more fulfilled, where things are going to feel easier. You're going to have more self-belief, you're going to have more confidence and more self-trust, because you're able to show up for yourself and you're able to feel better in yourself as well, right? Now, whatever this fucking looks like, okay, I don't care what this looks like. It's something where whatever it is that your favorite way to switch off for yourself, right? I recently bought myself a paint my numbers. I'm going to be doing that this weekend, and I'm going to bloody enjoy that, okay? Whether it's going to the gym, whether it's sitting and watching a movie with your partner, right? Me and my partner, we always switch off and we watch TV in the evening, and we always chat every single morning. We have coffee and we chat. Absolute nonsense. And that's like time for us literally just to be humans and just to be absolute idiots as well together, right? And that's what I love, and that's something that I very much deeply love every single day. I always start my days by like reading or doing something for myself. Again, that's me pouring into myself as a human before I serve anyone else. And that's where I very much focus my time and my energy of, I need to pour into myself so I can pour from a full cup, and again, so that I can receive. If you're trying to like receive from an empty cup, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work, because you're not going to be in your best energy. You're going to be burnt out. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be this, you're going to be that. Like, you're not going to be in your best energy to actually feel good receiving. Okay. So that is where I'm going to end this episode, because I do feel that this is just going to go on a ramble. I've been speaking for like 23 minutes now. So I do want to end it here with, that's the exact protocol that I want you to go with. Set a goal. Do you believe in it? If not, start there. Secondly, what's required of you to get there? If you don't know the specifics, set the intentions, and then now get yourself into receiver energy of, what do you actually need? Where can you actually pour into yourself just as a human, not actually as a business owner? And then switch off. And lastly, allow it to manifest and allow yourself to receive all of the good things coming your way and allow it to happen. Because the more that you put yourself into this, the more that it will happen. And take anything and everything as evidence of it, right? It doesn't matter if it's not related to business. Everything is related to business at the end of the day if it's you running the business, okay? I'm going to love and leave you. I've got a day of client calls and I'm so excited for them. So I'm going to love and leave you. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will chat to you guys in the next episode. Bye.